She got diagnosed with terminal lung cancer on my birthday, on my 14th birthday, I think it was. So, like, that sucked. We just assumed that she would make it through because she just fought so much with everything else in life.
How's it going, Mama Bear?
Nice wedding photo, John.
Yeah, we need to update that photo now.
Would rather her be here and us not be doing the ride at all. But if it helps other families and other people to not have to go through what we've gone through, then that's the main thing. And yeah, I know that Mum would do the same thing if she was here. It's an idea that's always been in my head ever since the boys sort of moved to Gold Coast. You know, an idea of a fundraiser of some sorts, that was big.
I thought it was crazy. I was worried and I was like, it's going to be tough. I said yes straight away.
Yeah, I think Colin, obviously losing his mum at a young age of 13 or 14, I know him pretty closely and he wanted to do something about it and make a difference.
Definitely something that, you know, hits close to home, losing mum to cancer, and yeah, as soon as Kylan brought it up, we're definitely on board.
We're about to start our 14-day journey here from the Broadwater Parklands. We're about to set off on our way to Adelaide, go to Arachula tonight. So it's 1/14 of what we're going to do.
I'm worried because the preparation hasn't been really that great.
The preparation, not much at all. I think I did, in about the month leading up, about 8 rides maybe, some 10Ks, some 20Ks. And when we're riding 150 Ks a day, that's certainly not enough.
Look, I know that you're glad that preparation for this thing's over. You just want to get on with the job. This is it. It's come to that. And we're all worried and concerned about you, but we just love you so much because you're taking on this challenge. And Mum's going to be right behind you. All these guys behind you are right behind you. And we want you to stay safe, especially this first leg. The roads are skinny and you've got hills and you've got no safety cars. So be careful. We love you very much. And when it gets tough, just think of your beautiful mother, okay? And we love you so much. Good luck.
I think Mum would think we were absolutely crazy. She probably would be like, there's no way you dickheads can do that. But I'm proud of you.
I think you should understand why we're doing it. And I mean, if we can do something like this so other people don't need to go through what Mum went through, I should back that 100%.
It's a big adventure that we're going to set out to do, and it's going to be something that's going to be very, very hard.
Well, we're definitely not cyclists, and I'm not the fittest bloke out there.
I probably could be a little more prepared. I've been doing spin classes, but nothing on the road, on a real bike. I think we're all determined enough to make sure we finish it. I don't think we're going to let ourselves not make it.
The first couple of days leaving was actually a really big struggle, I think, for all 4 of us boys.
The first couple of days were really challenging. Going through the hinterland, it was very hilly and the weather was pretty hot as well.
I think we thought we might be in a bit of trouble here, but I don't know, we pushed through, and obviously the beautiful lady upstairs is really behind us, and that's what got us through those really challenging days.
There was probably about at least 10 moments going up a few of them hills on that day where I just wanted to hop off my bike and just absolutely throw it off the cliff.
That was honestly just so hard, and then the bodies were getting used to it. Obviously we weren't probably up to the fitness we needed to be, so you know, things started to give out, muscles started to give out, so the first part was really tough.
Yeah, lunchtime that day I was thinking this is going to be a massive challenge. It had been a big couple days and I was thinking, are we actually going to make it?
I honestly thought after the drama of the first 2 days in the hills, I was questioning, like, how are we going to pull this off? How are we going to ride all these kilometres? Because it was just so tough. I honestly thought, there's no way.
It's like crazy to ride that far. Like it's dangerous, not only, you know, with cars and trucks and traffic, but like physically dangerous, mentally. I think it's a bit scary for all of us, the challenge of it all, but we'll make it. We know we will, we have to, so it's not really an option.
Beer is bloody good at an end of a 140 kilometre day.
We're all like mentally going strong. Physically we're definitely getting sore, like all our knees are starting to really play up. But I think we'll go home tonight and just have a really good rest. The first night we didn't get much of a rest at all. It was all a bit go, go, go. So I think we just need to go, rest and just, yeah, get back into it tomorrow. But we're feeling pretty good.
Gold Coast to Adelaide, according to Google Maps, is 2,089 kilometres. That's how far the Beech brothers are planning to ride in October.
Four brothers started a 2,200 kilometre ride from the Gold Coast to Adelaide.
Kyle and Beech, how are you, buddy?
Morning, mate. How are you?
Good. I know you started on the weekend. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, look, pretty sore. Very sore. Only 2 days into the 14, but you know, we were struggling a bit yesterday through the hills, but you know, we've come good today, luckily.
Well, the first time around, like I said, you were riding 220 kilometres, and this time it's 2,200 kilometres.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I know. Yeah, I know. Just times it by 10, and we thought, yeah, this is going to be an easy slog, but probably a bit harder than what we originally thought.
To be on a bike for 8 hours a day, it's a lot of time with your own thoughts, and you know, a lot of time to think about, oh, you know, 10 more kilometres to go until we get a break, but then we've got 100 more kilometres to go for the day. I think the mental challenge is so massive compared to the physical.
I think the biggest challenge is we'll be spending a lot of time with each other and doing really big kilometres every day. So I think we're going to be really tired, but definitely nothing we can't handle and get through. And then, yeah, just fitness, making sure we're fit enough to get through it. That's a bit scary.
New South Wales SES is preparing for possible record-breaking flood.
Parts of New South Wales are waking up to the worst flooding in 7 decades.
Across the state, months of rain is now backing up in rivers, leaving half a dozen towns on evacuation alerts.
The route and the whole entire trip was sent into turmoil a few times there.
There was water everywhere. You'd be riding along these roads that obviously were farmland, and it would just be just full of water. It looked like lakes and rivers. The main problem we had with a lot of the floods was they were just too deep to ride through.
Like, you can't help natural disasters from happening. You know, sometimes we'll be going down roads and it happened where there was no other option, but we go down there and it'd be flooded and we'd have to hop on the sides of the cars and hold our bikes and drive through flood.
I'm really excited as well to just go to like all these little towns and stop off and maybe meet some people going through some of these struggles and hearing their stories. And I don't think there's anyone in the world that's not affected by cancer, whether it's themselves having cancer or some family or a friend that's been through cancer or passed from cancer or is going through cancer. So I think there's going to be a lot of people coming up and talking about their stories and how this is helping them through.
I know what they're doing. I know how hard it is. And it takes a lot of stamina.
I've lived here
86 years. I lost a son 12 months ago. Lost my father. I've had 5 in it.
Yeah,
and
wow.
I'm a great supporter of it. It's all about life. Be happy. My name's Norm. Been in Coonamble for 85 years, nearly 86, but my first wife was 45 when she died. And my dad died 3 weeks later, the same complaint. And I had a brother died at 41. And then I had a son died at 57, and I'm always really and truly a cancer man. I was very lucky I was strong enough. But the last one was my son, and it really hurt. We've had a fair bit in Coonamble. Coonamble's been very unlucky with cancer. But you can't do enough, I'll say that way. These boys must have taken on their own, I'd say, to do what they're doing, which I'm very proud of, and their father should be too.
Once she'd been diagnosed, it was just setback after setback because they found it so late. She only lived for 11 months from her diagnosis, which was a shit of a time for us.
Like Mum always wondered throughout her battle, you know, why the cancer couldn't be found early enough, because by the time it was found, it was too late. That's just something that's always stuck with me, and I think it's something that's always stuck with our family, and that's something that we really want to push, like prevention rather than cure in some ways. Like it's great to have, you know, cures in some ways like radiation, but you know, there's no point in having radiation or drugs if you've caught it too late. So like we've got that technology, but you've got to catch it early enough.
Yeah, I think we were aware of that there was going to be some flooding, but it was quite challenging some of the days where we, you know, had to get out of certain towns to make sure we didn't get trapped in the town for the night.
So we got into Coonamble, all the tradies and stuff were sort of saying that the floods are going to go over the bridge. So if you're going to go, like, get out now, otherwise, you know, you'll be stuck here for at least 2-3 days. So yeah, we quick smart chucked everything in the cars and yeah, left at around 9 p.m. to Dubbo, and I mean, we were all exhausted because we had such a big day, but it's something that we had to do. And
if we didn't actually go then, we would have got trapped and would have had to go back probably 150 kilometres, so we were very lucky that day.
a lot of closed roads and only one open road, which is a road that we don't need open. So I'm going to call council once they open, because that was only updated on Tuesday, and I looked at the Bureau of Meteorology and they said the river might have gone down a bit, so we'll ask them. Otherwise there's no other way apart from going around to Sydney, so it's really the only option we have, because that's all road closures through here, up there. The morning in Dubbo was, I would probably say, the worst morning of like the whole entire trip.
Yeah, that morning I think we were just all a bit frustrated knowing that we just had to stay in Dubbo that day to make up the Ks that we couldn't do the day before because of the flooding. We're at the Dubbo Velodrome bike club here, and it's because, you know, with all the floods and everything that's going on, and we just have so many kilometres that we need to catch up, and we had to get a heap done here today. I think we're all a little bit tired, even though we got a bit more of a sleep in today. But I think tensions between riders has grown this morning as well, more than probably what they were. I think it's sort of getting to our breaking point of the trip.
Everything was really tense. We'd been driving all night to get to this accommodation, had a few hours sleep, And then the only way to make up the Ks we'd missed were to ride a 1 kilometre track 175 times. So we knew what was to come that day, and it just seemed like, God, how are we going to do this?
It's going to be a day of blood, sweat and tears, I reckon. But I'm just waiting for all of them to come.
After about 14 laps, I think it was, I just hear this massive crash behind me.
Yeah. Stay still.
As soon as I heard the sound of Colin going down, I knew straight away it definitely would have hurt.
Yeah, I was shitting myself just seeing him there on the ground, not really moving too much. I just ran straight over there, you know, rubbed his back and just sort of pinched him in a few places, make sure, you know, there's feeling in places, because you just don't know, things can happen so easy.
I hit the back of Jordan's wheel, and as I hit it, like, the only thought that was in my head was like, I'm gone. And like, it just happened so quickly, and I just smashed into the ground, and then I just opened my eyes and I was just laying on the ground. And like, I was just in that much pain, like everywhere. Like my head, instant pain, like all my hip down my left side. I just felt like I just couldn't move. Eventually got up, everyone sort of jumped off their bikes and we got the cars down here. Yeah, sort of got me in the car, got a shock blanket on, and eventually he took me to hospital.
I know Geordie in particular, he was pretty down. That Colin had hit his tyre, but you know, I just said to him, you know, it wasn't your fault, it's just an accident, and it can happen easily.
I was sort of mentally not very strong at that point already, just from the challenges we've had and lack of sleep. I just wanted to take my helmet off and smash it, to be honest. I was so close to doing that, but I remember thinking to myself, you know, I'm not the one on the ground here, let's just pull it together, but yeah.
You know, it's been a terrible 24 hours. Absolutely terrible. But, you know, stuff happens. And,
can it get worse?
Can it get worse? Probably could potentially get worse, but a bit hard, I think. I think this sort of caps it, but I think it's probably brought us boys back together again, considering we were quite, you know, frustrated today. But I think, you know, if you want to look at the positives.
Once we started doing laps again of that 1 kilometre track, it was, yeah, we didn't really talk too much. Just the unknown, what's happening with Kyle, and he was in the hospital for 3 hours, so to get an update took quite a while.
Got scans in at the hospital, I was in there for like 3 hours, and luckily no broken bones or anything. And
doing this, I guess, amazing thing to raise money, and would have sucked for him because he's organised it all if he couldn't hop back on the bike.
I was actually, to be honest, scared to get back onto the bike. It's just so easy for something to happen. Like, I didn't pay attention for like a split second, and all of a sudden I was on the back of Jordan's wheel and I was smashing my head into the ground. When I started riding, I actually got a little bit scared and felt really unbalanced.
Just a real challenging day, and not having Kyle in there made it really hard. I mean, with 4 tight brothers on the road going for it, and to lose one of them, just for a day even, it just really made it hard on us.
I think it was pretty important that I hopped back on just to pump everyone up for the rest of the ride.
Today, they just grinded it out again. I'd just take my hat off to them, because honestly, I'm in the car and I'm struggling mentally. And then we think, well, these boys here, hang on a minute, they're riding hour after hour after hour. They got sore bottoms, sore everything, yet they keep going.
We didn't get a lot of sleep last night with our travel down to where we stayed, and to do that on limited sleep, it just shows you the spirit within which they're tackling this challenge, I reckon. They've got a real commitment to it, and you can see that in the way they go about it.
An average day, you know, for us would be getting up around 4:30 a.m.
We try and pull ourselves out of bed, get up
before the sun sort of come up. Our support crew do a great job. You know, they make us breakfast, pack everything back into the cars from our accommodation.
We'd want to be on the bikes by about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And then we'll ride 40 Ks or whatever and have our first break where we'll have, you know, maybe some leftover breakfast. And then we'll do like another 40 Ks and we'll just have a quick stop. And then we'll ride another, you know, 30, 40 Ks and then we'll have a lunch. So get back on the bikes after lunch. We'll sort of be pretty tired by that point after lunch. And then we'll ride, you know, the last, another 40 Ks, have another quick stop and then finish off with another 30, 40 kilometres to finish off the day.
By the end of the day, all spent, we'd go back to our accommodation.
And then we'd try that night to get out in the community. So get out to pubs and clubs and even if we're just having dinner there, supporting also local businesses that are around the place. But then also sort of spreading the message around 220 for Tammy and the support through the community by just doing that has just been astonishing.
So last night at the South Hay Hotel, Sally, who's from the Facebook group, the Notice Board in Hay, she said that she wanted to go around and collect more money for us after we left the pub. So Ben, the publican at the South Hay Hotel, gave her this beautiful ice cream tub. And she stuck a bunch of our business cards on it and information. And then she went around and raised some more money for us, and there looks to be quite a lot in there. So yeah, just lovely that she wanted to go and do that for us. So yeah.
When the floods started to, I think, put our route off track and things that we'd had planned, like accommodation and things in certain places, didn't go to plan because of the floods. We needed help. My name is Ash and my role on the ride is to be the photographer. Also to do social media as well. Then jumped into the PR role when things turned upside down with the floods, so which I was happy to take on board, but yeah, that wasn't what I signed up for. I think the key thing is we wanted to raise money as well, so the more people that knew about the boys and what they were doing, the better, but we also needed help from the local communities. So yeah, I know that Facebook groups exist in local areas, and that was the first place I went when we needed some help. I just didn't want to pay for accommodation. I knew that there would be someone out there that would offer something, like if they knew the story. So I posted and just explained what the boys were doing, why they were doing it, a photo of them, a photo of our map and where we were headed. And within seconds had people reaching out saying, I've got room on the floor, I've got beds, I've got this, like sending us messages. And I was like, holy crap. Like it was just like this feeling of like, That's so lovely. I think when you're doing something for a good cause and wanting to involve the community, I think people are happy to jump on board, and at last minute as well. Like, they don't need to know a massive backstory, they don't need to know everything about you. They just believe in what you're doing and are happy to help.
Can you tell me a bit about why it was important for you to be a part of this ride?
Yes. Wasn't ready for that one. Yeah, so one, because I enjoy supporting people doing good things. Two, because they're Justin's best mates and who he grew up with. And three, and probably the main one, is because my mum my mum passed away from bowel cancer when I was 8. And yeah, everyone's affected by cancer. And to know that these boys were so close to their mum at the ages that they were, and they want to prevent people going through this, is big. And that was my underlying reason of caring so much.
For me, I've just learnt how great little communities are. Like, we come across so many country towns who just embraced us and wanted to help, wanted to donate and do anything they could to help us.
Going through a lot of the communities that have been affected by the floodwaters, it's pretty upsetting to see what a lot of the guys have already lost, and with the amount of unknown of how much water's coming down and what the effect it's going to have on a lot of these towns is really sad. But because we had to change our routes so much, we got involved with the communities, which was just, I don't know if Mum set that up to happen, but it was amazing the things we got to do with the communities on the way down. And just going to the pubs with some of these guys and putting a smile on their faces, having conversations, it was just almost the highlight of the whole trip. Yeah, look, we were 20 k's out of our destination in Balranald, and we were having a break there. Out of nowhere, just a hailstorm just hit, and there was a bunch of stuff that was sort of left out, and the whole group was sort of split into cars, and a lot of people weren't really grabbing things and bringing them into the cars, I guess, so a lot of things were getting wet. And I think the stress over the whole day just really built, and over the whole trip as well, sort of built up in especially the crew.
I think it'd been a long day that day, and obviously doing this bike ride, we're getting up at 5:30 every morning, so everyone's tired.
I walked back out and I just walked into this war zone of people crying and upset, and nobody wanted to talk to each other.
I think people are just over it. That's just the only way to sum it up. Everyone's done. Everyone's spent. But we've got to find a way to work as a team again, because we're not a community today. We're not one team. We've sort of split off into a bunch of other teams, which is the exact thing that I didn't want to happen.
Once we got to our accommodation that night, it was just so beautiful. Like, our accommodation, it sort of brought our whole group back together. We had a dinner all together, which rebuilt us, I think.
I feel like as soon as we got to this lake, it kind of felt like we were back home in Barmera in a way, like the lake and the trees in there and everything, and some really nice hospitality in this beautiful little cottage. And everyone just had like a sigh of relief. And we were supposed to go to the pub for dinner, but we all decided let's cook together as, our 220 For Tammy family. We sat down, had a nice dinner and talked about the issues of the day, and if anyone had any problems or needed to get something off their chest.
Overall, I think it's important to remember why we're here. And there's sort of two main reasons why we're here. And the first main reason's for Mum, so Tammy. That's one of our main reasons, like it's all in our name. That's a very important part, and she wouldn't want us, arguing or being upset about things, and that comes back to respect as well. So riders to riders, crew to crew, and then, together as well, working together as a team. She wouldn't want to see that. But then also for people with cancer in general, like I was saying to Justin earlier today, as soon as we fall apart, our team, our 220 For Tammy community team fall apart, then, you know, if other people see that, that's when they fall apart as well. We want to be one united team. So if we start falling apart, then, you know, people that have cancer or families that have cancer, if we can't do this job, then how do we expect for, you know, to work together to be able to raise enough money to help out other people to do, you know, get over cancer?
Little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids growing up in the heartland. Jack's gonna be a football star. Diane's the every time backseat of Jackie's car.
Oh yeah!
To the chorus. Straight to the chorus. Oh yeah! Life goes on. Long after the thrill of living is gone. They all gone.
All right, guys. Good start to the day. I just feel like we need some inspiration. Since we left the Gold Coast, we've been challenged. We have physically and mentally been challenged, but we've all shown some heart. Each and every one of us have shown some heart. How good's the support crew been? I can't question their efforts. They've been unbelievable. And what about the four brothers on the road? Yeah. Getting it done, day in, day out, supporting each other, getting around each other. Yeah. I tell you what, boys, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But if we rocked up to a pub tonight and a bunch of blokes wanted to take us on, we would absolutely roll them! Yeah. We would roll them! Because we are that tight! Now I want to finish talking about one word. Cancer. Prick of a word. It's taken away a lot of people. It's taken away our mum. It's taken away his wife. I'll tell you what it's not taken away. It's not taken away our heart! Yeah. We're gonna ride! We're gonna ride! We're gonna ride! And we're gonna keep raising money. And when we get our case for the day today, we're gonna celebrate with a few frothies. Let's get it done! Yeah! I remember a few times when we were riding, us boys would say, like, we just can't wait to get to the Riverland, because we knew it'd just be familiar and we knew we wouldn't be far from Adelaide. That day we got to the SA border was a big relief. Knowing that we're going to be coming into the Riverland the next day.
Finally get into our final state and on sort of our home stretch.
Mentally, we just like switched and we were like, things hurt, but didn't hurt as much anymore. And we kind of could push out more Ks and push them out quicker because we had like milestones, places we know where we can get to next.
I think it's just made the trip go so much quicker because we know that we're so close, and so close to Mum as well when we came into SA.
And to get there and see people we knew was such a great feeling, and everyone just getting behind the cause.
The reception in Barmah and really all across the Riverland, like we were getting toots constantly by people that just knew us, and then in Barmah it just took, I guess, a whole nother step up.
It just felt really cool to see like all the little kids in our old school just screaming, and I don't know, it was just like an adrenaline rush. It felt really cool.
The community there is as strong as I remember it being. We're riding laps around Barmah and people are tooting their horns, people are pulling over to, you know, give money. You know, so many people have been affected by cancer, and it just takes that little bit for people to come out, and if we can lead that, then that's awesome.
Yeah, I think going out to the cemetery was a bit of a mini finish line. Like, we knew we'd made it to Mum and she'd be so proud. like we all know, if the cancer had been found a bit earlier, you know, she could have had a longer life. And hopefully by raising all this money, it can give someone else, even if it's one person that it helps, to have a longer life and enjoy time with their family, because, you know, that's what life's all about.
I think that it was actually a really good thing that we stayed. Like, it was so much more special riding around the lake, past the cemetery all the time, like so close to Mum, to sort of catch up them kilometres. And obviously, like, all of Barmah and all of the Riverland has played such a massive role in Mum's life, but also our lives. You know, we're here, we've made it, you know, to Barmah, to Mum. You know, that's what it's all about, you know, with riding for Mum. So I think it's just a really good effort by all us boys and the whole team to, you know, make it this far. You know, she's been the person that's pulled us through the past 1,800 kilometres. Now, you know, we're on the final stretch. We know that, you know, we've finally seen her. So let's get her to pull us through the final stretch, you know. Let's do the last 250. I don't really have much else to say. Yeah, but here's a Tammy, all right? Cheers.
You know, we've just spoken about the boys that she's raised and the determination and the courage you've shown to do this trip. It's been absolutely fantastic. Cheryl and myself have been in awe, you know, of your not of your organisation, but of everything else. Your effort and the dedication to the task has been number one, and we've sat in our car in awe of the way you guys are pedalling, and we're really proud of the fact that Nick's carried you all through. Well done, Nick. Fantastic effort. So, but no, seriously, really well done, guys, because, you know, you're overtrained, you're underprepared, but you've done it to this point. So all the best for those last 220, and Tammy's the reason you're doing it, and fantastic. Well done, guys.
It was kind of like a surreal feeling, like leaving Barmah, like on the final stretch, we're like nearly there. I actually think all of our pain and all of it, like mentally, it had all sort of numbed out. It's only a couple hundred kilometres, like we've just rode 2,000. Like 200 kilometres is literally nothing compared to what we've already achieved.
Well, we've driven from Barmah to Adelaide hundreds and hundreds of times in a car, and we rode from Adelaide to Barmah not long ago, so knowing we just have to do that little 2-day ride on the last stretch, as long as we stay safe, we've done it, and we were just pumped to get it done.
And the feeling on the road that day, we were just happy, we're up and about because we knew we were nearly there, and to me it just felt like we'd already made it, because the trip to Adelaide was so much easier than it was on those first couple of days when we left the Gold Coast. So it was just a great relief for all four of us.
It's funny because on the final leg, all that really went through my mind is Accommodation Hill's getting closer. Actually, every 5 to 10 minutes probably it crossed my mind. Accommodation Hill, Accommodation Hill. And it's nothing compared to the mountains we did in Gold Coast, but for some reason it just played on my mind. But we got to Accommodation Hill and smashed it, absolutely ate it for lunch.
As soon as I had the chance to eat that shit,
not too bad. We got through it pretty fast. Wouldn't do it again.
K's to go, 45 K's to go, sing it to me, said 45 K's to go, 45 K's to go, if there's not 45 then it's 40 on K's to go, 45 K's to go, oh yeah.
Absolutely sensational. Only 45, 50 K's to go into the city. We've got a few riders coming along with us, and I absolutely cannot wait to just get there and be done. Just finishing this ride, it's been the biggest journey I reckon I've the biggest thing I've ever had to tackle in my entire life. So like, just to get there and say I've done it is going to be huge.
I actually don't really care about the amount of money that we raise. Like, that doesn't really bother me. It's great to have a goal and to raise a lot of money, but I just want to make a difference to at least one person or one family. Or if everybody just tried to make a difference to at least one person in the world, then like, we would be in such a better place.
You just had to keep challenging yourself, keep getting on that bike, and it's amazing what the mind can do.
This has just been the most incredible, challenging experience, mentally and physically. You know, we've put in all we could possibly put in. Like, I can happily say there's no more any of us four boys could have put in.
We talk about being a community, like, and the focus on being a community is that everyone's cared for and everyone's loved and everyone gets around each other to make a difference, because otherwise, you know, you can try and do something by yourself, but you're not going to get near as far as a whole community coming together and trying to make a difference.